Hi, I'm Ken Ramsey, President of Legacy Leaders. This is the second in a series of podcasts titled The Plan Giving Truth. Today, a challenging question came from Twitter, and the question was, why should donors disclose their gift to organizations? It's a good question, and let's look at it from two different perspectives. Let's look at it from the point of view of the donor and from the fundraiser. From the fundraiser's point of view, we've got good reasons for knowing about gifts. They're part of our scorecard. The scorecard might be as part of a campaign, it might be for an annual report, it might be for our own work goals. It's an opportunity for us to measure our own work, to measure its effectiveness, and justify the investment that is made in the program. Or it may be for our own satisfaction. We as fundraisers always need that, to know that, hey, we're being successful. The fundraiser, of course, then would like everybody to disclose his or her gift intention. But that doesn't happen. It just doesn't. So we have to look at it from the donor's point of view. And we should look at both the pros and cons from the donor's point of view. We'll take the pros first. The good reasons, the good benefits that fall to the donor by disclosing the gift. First is recognition. In disclosing, one can get recognized, but there's a caveat. And that is that recognition is not an important driver for planned gifts. We know that from research, NCPG research in the year 2000. Only 34% of people mention it as a motivator. So whereas it's a strong motivator for major gifts, not so much for estate gifts. There's an ability in disclosing the gift to then shape the gift, to give it direction and meaning. And if this is worked out with the organization ahead of time, the gift will have more impact, in effect. And that's beneficial to some donors. There's also the knowledge that the gift is in place. There's a satisfaction that comes with that knowledge that it's all in place, it's going to do with it what it's meant to do. So there's another benefit to the donor. And lastly, by sharing the knowledge of the gift, you may actually as a donor be able to impact the overall direction of the organization. It may steer strategically that organization in a direction that you want. However, the cons, the reasons why not to disclose, are very strong. And they're very personal. There's a perceived lack of flexibility. Along with that, a concern that needs may change over time and the gift parameters will have to change. And people are reluctant, therefore, to disclose because they don't want to go back on that gift and change it. There's also an unwillingness to make final decisions. And in making the gift public, it feels like a more final decision. And many people just will avoid that. It's also just in general terms making public very private information. So those are very strong reasons, personal reasons, why the donor is not inclined to share the gift intention with you and your organization. If we're truly donor-centered, we should really expect no donor to share any plans with us. However, as I stated, from the fundraiser's point of view, there's all sorts of good reasons for that to happen. So what can we do about it? What can you do about it? There is some things that we can. And it starts with accepting where the donor is. Accepting these good reasons why not to disclose. We can also educate our own boards and senior management about how the scorecard is really kept. And that is, it's not yes or no, it's not clear, it's not like other types of gifts. And that lots of the work we're doing won't come to fruition or be known for decades. There's an educational process there. We can also start to measure our programs differently. At Legacy Leaders, we've developed a series of measurements for gift commitments that are not a simple yes or no. There's a big land in between the yes and the no. Everything from, I'm interested in that, to a completed gift. And if we start measurements that are in this great in-between zone, all of a sudden, donors are quite willing, but more willing to disclose levels of commitment. I'm likely to do that. I have an intention to do that at some time. There's a great field of knowledge there that we can glean from talking to donors in these terms, in effect changing the way we measure the gift away from a simple yes or no, which donors are more reluctant, as I described, to give us. Next, we can work differently with donors. We can reassure them that they have flexibility and privacy. We can stress recognition for those who value it, and reassure those of anonymity for those who value that. So we can make that part of our communications. We can engage in dialogue with people. If you ask a simple question to people, what if you were to leave an estate gift to my organization, what would you like to happen with that? Engage people in that dialogue, and there's a good reason for them to then disclose the gift to you. And if we ask those right questions, we'll pull out more information than we thought possible. And lastly, we can go back over time. People change during their lifetimes. The gift disclosure really is a life cycle phenomenon. People who are 82 are much more willing to disclose their gifts than people who are 62. So don't forget about people. Keep coming back to them periodically and saying, have you thought about this lately? You might get surprised about the level of disclosure. We'll always want your comments and feedback on YouTube notes or Twitter. And that's the Plan Giving Truth for today.